I have so many fond memories. Sometimes sit down in my chair and I think back, and I try to sort of reorganize this story about these people that I have got in my mind, and mix them up together first and then pair them all. And I think there are quite a few people out there that would be very, very happy to be together because they are such lovely people that they are. Emilia Teresa Harper. Teresa. It's Teresa because it's Czechoslovakian. 103, my goodness me. 3 is my lucky number. I have always been lucky. I've never been unlucky, touch wood. Oh, there's wood underneath there. I was in Czechoslovakia when I was a young girl, and I was living with my grandparents because my father was a prisoner of war. We came over to England to be with our father when he was released from the war. Everything makes me happy. I love talking to people. I like doing things. I like going out shopping. Once I go out shopping, I don't want to come back. I don't think there is anything that I really need to do because I've done practically everything that I ever wanted to do in the past. I've got beautiful memories, you know. I can live happily forever after because of my lovely memories.
Do you know Sri Lanka? I climbed up the tower there, Sirigura, which is 600 feet up to the top. I've always been fond of the water, and I did a lot of yachting when I was young as well, another part of my misspent youth. My name is John Dennerley. I'm 102 and a half. I was born at an early age, before World War I, in Denton, Manchester. I've had a relatively easy life, even with the RAF, 5 years of war. It was an adventure more than a penalty, even amongst the bombs. But I wasted a lot of time, my childhood, entertainment, that sort of thing. Even staying up till sometimes right through from midnight right through to breakfast time, and Mother would come down in the morning and say, "Haven't you been to bed, John?" And I'd say, "No, I've been listening to the Schenectady, New York on the radio with the..." And then I sort of settled down once I became a pharmacist.
I don't feel any older than I was, 20, 30 years ago, except with my limitations.
I don't feel 29, but say 79, 69, 79.
I'm not going yet. I'm still strong. I'm very, very strong. I've never realized how strong I am. It's all the food that my mother cooked and first of all grew in the garden.
I make my own bread by hand. I'll probably be making some today.
That's my online. Tesco's coming tomorrow.
We always had fresh food when we were youngsters. Always. Straight from the garden into the pan and onto the plate.
Skimmed milk, kitchen towels.
6 ounces of flour, 2 ounces of sugar, and 6 ounces of
butter.
butter.
Apples or gooseberries, lots of gooseberries.
Shepherd's pie.
I don't have many failures. If I'm making a cake and it fails, it becomes a pudding.
Oh, my marriage was absolutely wonderful, heavenly, heavenly, heavenly. I lived with him from the age of 16 until he died at I think it was over 70. I wanted to marry a handsome man and a man with good manners, and I had both.
We did have problems, but we got through them. And I think nowadays people give up too easily.
Well, I'm always optimistic, and she was always pessimistic, so we got on very well together.
Make the most of it, because that's especially if it's the first love, there's nothing like it. When I had my first children, I had twins, but unfortunately I lost the twins, and that was the most tragic moment in my life. But I had a daughter, and I enjoyed her company very much indeed, loved her immensely. When I lost my first baby, it was one of the twins went, I was devastated. Eventually, of course, you get used to it, because life goes on regardless. You get healed, and what you never forget. So, you know, it's really wonderful to have something left behind, even if they are no longer here. They're there. They're in your mind, they're in your air, all around you. It's really a wonderful, wonderful feeling. I think a lot of my children, even today, after all these years. I can still sit here and I can talk to them, and as if they were still alive. When people pass this way, they hear me talking to myself. They think I'm crackers, but I'm not crackers. I'm only just thinking about my children. Any regrets? None whatever. I can tell you right from my heart, none whatever.
If I'd have been more attentive at school in my early life, I'd have studied more and harder. And although I didn't do too bad in the end. So. But I think the sooner you start studying, the better.
I was ill at college, and my father came to collect me, and I didn't want to go back with him. I wanted to stay at the college with the friends for a short time, and I always regretted that my dad had made the journey, and I hadn't taken it up. His offer to take me back. I didn't do the right thing by my father. That's the thing, because I admired him very much. I never said anything.
You've got to keep up with the times. So what was good in sort of 80, 90 years ago doesn't work these days.
Well, communicate, speak with your parents, and take their advice too, or at least consider it. You don't always have to follow it, but certainly don't throw it out of the window.
I recommend anybody, if they find the right husband, to marry. not just live together, marry, be closer and closer. It seems to me as if you are happy, happily married and happily living, that is the finest remedy for all ills, because everything is in perfect harmony.
Time spent on reconnaissance is seldom wasted, and be as independent as you can, but don't be reluctant to ask for help when you think you need it.
Good idea is to behave well to other people, show them respect and help them as much as you possibly can, and it will be repaid hundredfolds.
My motto for life, there was an old Scottish comedian, Harry Lauder, Sir Harry Lauder, who used to sing, "Keep right on to the end of the road," and that's my motto.
Keep right on till the end of the road. Keep right on to the end. Though the way be long, let your heart be strong. Keep right on round the bend. Where all you love and you dreaming of will be there at the end of the road.
The longer I stay, the more noisy I shall get.
I'm staying put.
I think I've done all that I wanted to do. As long as I can be helpful and keep going, that's the main thing. My name is Clifford, but call me Cliff Crozier, and I was born on 6th of September 1915. Makes me now 101.
I went to college, then I became a teacher, yes. I didn't allow bad language, and one boy used a 4-letter word. I put him out of my class, and his mother came in. And the first thing out of her is, "Where is that teacher?" She used the word. I said, "I'm that teacher. If you want to talk like that with your children in your house, it's all right, but you can't do it in my classroom." And believe me, he never used it again.
My name is Frances Friedman.
Ida Keeling.
September 26th, I will be 103 years old.
I am 107.
100 years and 3 months.
My daughter says I'm 100.
I am 110 months. I always did love to work. I had a lot of interesting jobs.
Everyone in my family, I think my age, we all worked hard. I got a job with an orthodontist, and so I wound up doing the paperwork. I took x-rays.
My father became a citizen, and he worked for a restaurant, and after a while he built his own restaurant. The success was that he worked very hard to keep the family together.
It was hard times. That was back in the 30s. Every day looked like Sunday because there was so much unemployment. If you took care of somebody's child all day, you got 25 cents. And sometimes you didn't get that. They didn't have it. You learn to make do with what you got. And that's what a lot of people learn. As money got a little better, you got a little better, but you lose that thought of still living within your means.
I see here in New York so many girls are from out of town and they come to New York to see what's going on, and it gives you a wider scope of what you want to do. When I was young, we live with our parents. Then we got married. I don't think I took too many risks at that time. That's why I can say that it's good to take risks.
Well, when I was graduated, I was married immediately, and my husband was a doctor. At that time, we didn't have answering services or telephone services, so I worked with him on the office. And after he died, I was encouraged by the friends to go back to school and become a speech therapist. I never finished my dissertation because I remarried. I married a lawyer, so I helped him in the office.
I was married a long time, and my husband was a plumber, and I worked for an orthodontist. So Thursday was our late night, and he came home at 4 o'clock. So he got angry one night, and he said, I do not want you to go to work. I want dinner on the table when I come home from work. So that was the end of my going to work. But I was very creative. I designed rings, and I cast them in sterling. And as a matter of fact, I made the wedding ring I was married in. That I made in gold. First of all, get a good education.
When you're young, take risks. Try different kinds of endeavors so that you can make up your mind which one you really like.
You always have to find out what they're interested in first and try to start off from there. After my second husband died, I became a teacher for juvenile delinquents, for which I was totally unprepared. They were 13 to 16-year-old boys. Every other word out of their mouths was either motherfucker or something similar. They spoke another language.
Why do you think you were so good at teaching these troubled kids?
Well, I had sympathy for them, and that came forward.
Clean living.
Exercise, always be active. Chew your food. Don't just take a bite and swallow it.
You have to try to have good health. And you cannot have good health if you try to drink a lot of booze or you try to take drugs. You just make sure you get a good piece of bread and cook a cup of coffee.
Be interested in what's happening.
Eat the right foods and exercise.
Eat right, sleep right, and don't get mad.
Eat whatever you want to eat, but eat less. That's all you got to do.
I tell people to stay in the work job until as long as they can possibly work. I never retired until I was 99 years old.
If you have peace of mind, that's all.
I think stress will kill you.
I've had very little stress, and I think that is probably the secret of good health.
Not to worry, just live right, that's all.
Worry isn't helping the situation any. And if you can't do anything, forget about it. Because worry only brings lines in your face.
You just keep that mind busy, see? You got to keep that mind. The minute you stop using your mind and your body, you'll start deteriorating too. Right away.
Just stay out of trouble, that's all.
I don't have a secret. The Lord just hasn't called me yet, that's all.
The Lord doesn't want me, and I don't think the devil wants me.
I was born in Birkenhead, in the Wirral, Cheshire. Apart from the war and the time I was at college, I've been all there all my life. I've been retired now for 38 years. It always pleases me, though, that they keep robbing the government, really, of my pension. It's just that you keep going. It's only a number. 101 is only a number. And you live for the day. a spot of whiskey occasionally helps, although it's not on the national health.
We are very poor and we took food from the earth, sweet potato and bamboo shoots. Then one day we were sitting down to a meal. One woman came with her child and said, "We haven't eaten for 2 days. Please help us." So my mother took things on the table, things that we were sitting down to eat, gave it all to them, and she said, "We ate yesterday, they haven't eaten for 2 days. They have more right to the food than we." And that was a very good lesson to me. All my life, I think of people who have less than we. That has been my guiding light all my life. I started Hatu under a different name, Friends of the Needy, in 1923. Wherever I go, I do the same thing. I put my back down. First thing I look for is people who don't have enough to eat. And then when I came to Singapore, I call myself Heart to Heart. Heart to Heart is we give whatever we can, food and money for their rent through, and help them see the doctor, whatever. Sometimes people hear my talk, they donate money, we pass it on to those who need. At the moment we have 15 old people in Singapore, 5 families, and 34 blind people in Ho Chi Minh City. There was a time when we were very, very poor. I went to the river to wash the family clothes, and while the clothes were drying on the low bush, we went to look for whatever food we can get. I was so hungry, I looked around, nobody was watching, so I stooped down, got a handful of grass and shoved it in my mouth. It didn't satisfy my hunger, at least it satisfied my thought of hunger. So it did taste nice. I didn't stop my hunger, so I said to myself, as long as I am able to let nobody need to eat grass. So this is my guideline now. Whoever is hungry, I do my best to see what I can get for them. Till now, I still do it. I still go around and see who is hungry. I will share my rice bowl, my bowl of rice with you. This is now my life, is to share what I have with those who are hungrier than I, even equally hungry. We say have a bowl. One man asked me why don't you stay at home, enjoy yourself instead of going around with 20 people. I said, if I eat food by myself, I alone, ha-ha-chio. I persuade 20 people, 21 people, ha-ha-chio. You say my joy multiplied 21 times. So 6 months later, we attended a meeting in the recess, tea time, tea break. He came up to me and he said to me, "Thank you for teaching me how to smile 21 times. I said, next time we meet, we will smile 42 times. But the 42 times hasn't come yet. Still waiting for the sun to smile 42 times. In life, there are always problems. You solve your problem to the best you can, accept the rest. Don't think of the problem all the time. Because we have to spend money by handkerchief.
And then you ha-ha-ha.
And then we ha-ha. No need to spend money, no handkerchief. Ha is better than sing.
I woke up one morning And most of my teeth had just disintegrated. They just weren't there. Did I swallow them in my sleep? So everybody, boys and girls, brush your teeth very well at night before you go to bed.
The doctor put me on Hennessy in 1972 because I had poor circulation. I take me a little shot glass straight.
Every day?
Yeah, why not?
My name is Myrtle Kaplan. I am 110 months.
I am 107.
100 years and 3 months.
My daughter says I'm 100.
Like now, I don't know how I reached 100. I can't believe it.
Can I ask for your advice on staying so healthy and being in such good shape?
Get enough sleep, eat a good meal, eat spaghetti. I like spaghetti with sauce. You make it though.
Eat for nutrition, not for taste. I take cod liver oil in the morning. Some people say, cod liver oil. I take it every morning. I take my orange juice and all kind of vegetables, good for your eyes. Apples is like a mild laxative. So if you eat that before you go to bed, well, in the morning, you know where you have to go.
If I get too nervous, it affects my stomach. I do take a certain pill. This doctor I had years ago gave me this pill, and I take it, and it keeps me calm.
I didn't like spicy food, and I didn't like liquor. I never smoked.
I do feel that walking is very important. I try to walk every day.
Make sure you exercise. Some everyday exercise is the best medicine out there.
I used to exercise when I was young with Jack LaLanne. I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah.
I used to get up in the morning and exercise with him.
If your feet hurt, massage it, bend your toes, to your legs, to something. Be like a rubber band all over the place. So.
I used to love dancing. My main thing was the Peabody, if you know that. You go 1, 2, 3, cross, 1, 2, 3, cross, go around. It's hard to explain the Peabody.
Back in those days, in the poor neighborhoods that didn't have a lot of parks, playgrounds or stuffing like that, really. And then you did your own workout. You did your own swings under the fire escapes.
We rode bikes, and we climbed in the White Mountains in New Hampshire.
At my age, you should lie down in the afternoon and rest, because your body can only take so much. You don't need it if you're young and busy and working and keeping busy. That's your life.
If you don't use it, you're going to lose it.
The oldest woman in Multnomah County turned 108 today. Laureen Denwitty lives at Cherry Blossom Cottage in southeast Portland. She credits her vegan diet for her longevity and says it keeps her feeling good.
Nothing but fruit, vegetables, and nuts, and well, it's all there in the Bible.
Laureen is likely the oldest woman in all of Oregon, but that's not official because the state does not keep those records.
We know that heredity is a big factor in longevity. Probably 50% it rates as being that influential. I don't have a particularly good heredity. 3 of my grandparents died at 72. My grandmother lived to about 85. Nobody in my family has lived to be my age. Then, of course, you get into the matter of your lifestyle. And I think that one has to be at peace in his mind as well as in his, as well as have other good health habits. And perhaps that's the reason why the Seventh-day Adventists have this 7 to 10 years. They say they live longer than the average, is that I think they do have a sort of a peace of mind which they get from their religious convictions. I happen to be a vegetarian, and I think it has its advantages in longevity. I'm actually a vegan. A lot of people will say, well, where do you get your vitamin B12 from? And where do you get your protein from and all that? But we know these days that that's no problem, really, to have a real balanced diet on a vegetarian diet. A lot of people get up and just run down the road, you know what I mean? With me, I'm not that disciplined. I have to have some structured form of exercise where I see some benefits of what I do. I go out and I'll prune a tree or mow the lawn or dig the garden or something like that. And I'll help my wife in the house even, run the vacuum cleaner, something that's active. They do say that being married is an advantage. In other words, a matter of social support, you know what I mean? And I came from a large family. That is, there were 6 siblings in my family, and I have 5 children. I think that is a big factor, all right, in a person's peace of mind.
My son was born January the 14th, 1926. My daughter was born February the 14th, 1938.
Never been sick a day in his life. I was astounded. Some people argue, well, it's just Bernardo's genes. He has good genes. One of his family members, his son, didn't eat properly, and he did pass on much younger. That was in his 80s?
Yes.
So that's the sad truth about you are what you eat. What would you say are the most important lessons you've learned from your father?
Well, whatever my father taught me from the very beginning, he said that health should be your first priority. And in order to do that, you eat properly, try to make it timely, get your proper rest, and keep your colon clean above all. Because at the top of the list it says cleanliness is next to godliness. That means inside and out. So in order to keep it clean on the inside, you have to eat properly. And not a lot of stirred up, boiled to death food. Eat just what God left here for you. When God left the Garden of Eden, He left fruit and vegetables. No fried chicken, no spare ribs, nothing of that type. And they laughed at me, called me the rabbit eater and so forth and so on. All those people are gone. I eat vegetables, green vegetables, fruit, and good soup. And above all, which the body is made 70% water, I try to drink the right water, proper water. And I've been doing that now for the last 3 months, and I feel better than I've been felt since I was 50.
So the key is really alkalinized, ionized, electron-rich water.
That's right.
And this is the kind of water that would be available naturally, in artesian springs, but it's been so processed as it travels through the city that, we need these additional tools. But that's the other thing about the food supply. Didn't food taste and look and smell better back 50, 60, 100 years ago?
Yes, oh yes, because first of all, there wasn't all those chemicals in it. My top fruit is blueberries. Yeah. That's number one. In fact, all the berries, but blueberries is tops. All the berry family, I go for that. And the next is cantaloupe. Cantaloupe is one of the finest, believe me. Cantaloupe, in my book, is next to blueberries. But blueberries is tops. I haven't missed eating blueberries in 20 years. Cabbage is one of the greatest vegetables you can have. Broccoli is next.
Is there anything that you don't like?
In vegetable line?
In the fruit and vegetable world that you just don't want to touch?
No, I can't say there is.
Do you eat nuts or seeds?
Nuts, I eat an awful lot of nuts. All kinds. That's right.
The other thing Bernardo's done is he's been sustainably high raw all his life for over 100 years. You've eaten this way since you were 4, right?
Since I was 5 years of age that I can remember. My daddy had me eating properly, and I never changed. I haven't changed anything. I eat the same way. And they used to laugh at me and call me the rabbit because I ate raw food and whatnot.
You've been a raw foodist for 104 years?
Almost.
Wow.
And the other key here, too, Bernardo is an herbalist. And that's his background. That's his father's background as a physician in Brazil. Bernardo helped co-formulate this amazing herbal superfood blend with Dr. Schultze that he's been taking for 30 some odd years. It's what he does.
47
He helped Dr. Schultz?
Yeah, you knew him growing up as a kid.
I know Dr. Schultz all his life.
So Bernardo, as a morning, religiously every morning, he has a superfood blend, which is a blend of herbs. And it's interesting because his fruit salad is really palatable, so often you'll put the fruit salad mixture in with the superfood.
That's right.
And it makes a palatable breakfast drink, and that's what you've had every day in the morning, right?
Yeah, and you won't get hungry until 11 o'clock.
Right.
And if you're overweight, you're going to lose that. It's going to come down to natural.
And on another raw food front, the other thing Bernardo does is you eat well-managed portions several times a day on certain times. You don't eat too late, you don't eat too early.
That's right.
So what times do you eat?
Well, in the morning after I have my mile-and-a-half walk thereabouts, I will have my superfood and my tea, my cinnamon tea.
Oh, that's a big thing too. It has the.
Oh,
you actually get the cinnamon bark and soak it out.
That's right, and boil it, make a tea out of it.
You have this certain ritual that keeps your skin, so great. You don't have any wrinkles.
No, that's olive oil. I don't have nothing hanging underneath like the average person.
Do you put olive oil on your face?
When I shave, after I shave, I put olive oil.
And this is also a really important point to know. I mean, you hear the way Bernardo's talking about how to make food look and taste good. I mean, you've been a 5-star chef. You're a retired chef.
Yes, retired after graduated from Sorbonne University in Paris, and as a bona fide chef, and worked on the liners for 37 years.
To what year?
Until 1947, 1957.
So Bernardo, actually, you have a blender and a juicer.
That's right.
So you have.
You make smoothies and stuff too.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And how much your diet would you say is green leafy vegetables?
Well, 2/3 of my diet is broccoli, collard greens, kale, spinach, asparagus. All those things I eat regularly, every day, not one day, every day.
And what do you say when people ask you where you get your protein?
Beans, black beans. Don't forget the beans. It's black beans and rice. That's a regular meal. That's a poor man's meat.
Right.
And I've been eating it all my life.
The way you do it, unlike other people, some people way overcook what they do,
that's it.
and you soak it overnight. You soak the rice overnight, and it pulls out the starch.
Yeah.
And then you lightly cook it just so it can be chewed on.
That's right. And even I soak my barley when I get ready to make a barley soup. Read up on barley. Tell anybody to get barley and find out what it does. It's been used from years back when the pyramids were being built.
Right.
And they used the barley soup to give the slaves strength. They worked like crazy, and they couldn't understand how they could do all that work just on barley.
The goal, of course, is not just to have a long life, but to have quality life. The goal is to keep a good quality as well as quantity of life. And the goal is to die as late in life as possible, right? One of my good friends, Dr. Howard Murad, always says, aging is a fact of life, but looking your age is not. And what are the things to do for a long, healthy life, according to the American College of Anti-Aging Medicine? Is eat a wide variety of plant foods, maintain a healthy weight, choose a diet low in fat and cholesterol, choose a diet with plenty of fruits and vegetables, and be moderate in the sugar, salt, and so forth. We know today that by eating less, you can live longer, cutting down on the calories. 50% increase in longevity in animal studies with 30 to 60% decrease in calorie intake. How many of you saw the National Geographic a few years ago when they look at the different cultures of longevity? The Okinawans, the Sardinians, and the Seventh-day Adventist population in Loma Linda. You know, in Okinawa, they have quite a bit of life expectancy compared to the United States. They have more centurions in their country compared to the United States. Here are some of the active seniors in Okinawa that are very active in their exercise, and these gentlemen are over 100 years of age. He's a 103-year-old individual. And when they looked at the people that lived to be over 100 years of age, what did they see? in Okinawa. They eat a low-calorie diet. It's a plant-based diet, unrefined carbohydrates, low in protein, low in sodium. 9 to 17 servings of vegetables daily. 7 to 13 servings of whole grains daily. 2 to 4 servings of calcium-rich foods, and a lot of that is in the form of seaweed. 2 to 4 servings of flavonoid-rich foods, such as green tea or soybean-based products, and 2 to 4 servings a day of fruit. They eat very little protein. In fact, it only makes up about 10% of their diet in the calories. And very little sodium, little or no alcohol, and they use healthy types of oils and fats. Here we have a typical 280-calorie meal in America and a 280-calorie diet in Okinawa, and you can see they get much more bulk, more quantity of food in the Okinawan diet compared to the hamburger, and that's one of the reasons Americans eat too much, because they're always hungry. They get all these calories in just small pieces of food, and they don't get satisfied. Another area is in the area of Hunza, up in the Himalayas. My friend Dr. J.M. Hoffman studied these people a number of years ago. The oldest recorded age is 130 years of age, a very pristine mountainous region. These gentlemen are all over 106 years of age. The second one to the left is 106 years old, and he walks 12 miles every day. And when you're in Hunza, you're walking up a lot of hills. Here's a beautiful, pristine, they're very physically active. Apricots is one of the foods that they eat every day in their diet, rich in antioxidants. They dry it and they have it fresh. And they do everything organically with their beautiful terraced ways of growing. Whole grain bread, the chapati, is used in their diet every day. When you look at their diet, a lot of whole grains. 80% of the vegetables that they eat is raw with the skins. 20% are lightly steamed. So most of the diet is raw. Apricot seed oil is used as their fat, and very sparingly because it turns rancid easily. Grains, buckwheat, millet, rice, corn, fruits, apricots, mulberries, grapes. You can see a very healthy diet. And animal products account for only 1% of their total calories. They do have a little milk, butter, and cheese, very sparingly. Small amounts of meat, averaging 3 ounces per month, which is nothing. Actually, they eat meat about 13 days a year, and the rest of the time they follow a vegetarian diet because they don't have refrigeration. And in the United States, we have the Seventh-day Adventist population. And Seventh-day Adventists are a great group to study because they don't smoke, they don't drink. 50% of Seventh-day Adventists follow a vegetarian diet. And studies show that vegetarian Seventh-day Adventists live almost a decade longer in life compared to the average American. This was a good friend of mine, Hulda Crooks, who lived to be 102 years old. She was a Seventh-day Adventist, climbed Mount Whitney every year in her 60s and 80s, and at 92 she was the oldest woman to climb to the top of Mount Fuji. And she attributed a lot of that not only to her good exercise routine, but her vegetarian diet. Jack LaLanne was raised a Seventh-day Adventist, and he says, exercise is king, nutrition is queen, and if you put them together, you have a kingdom. He also says, and in fact, Patricia Bragg and I had the opportunity to go to Jack LaLanne's house just about a few months ago, before his 94th birthday. A nice lunch with him. He's still keeping fit, still exercising regularly. And you know what he says? Dying is easy. Living takes a lot of work. You know, dying, all you have to do is sit around, don't exercise, watch TV, eat types of junk food. That's easy. But living takes a lot of work. And he says that exercise, he says, is a pain in the butt. It's hard work to do, but that's what it takes. Now, when we define aging, a lot of people think of wrinkles, sun damage, less hair, poor memory, poor digestion, reduced circulation, and aging begins at the cellular level. That's where it all begins. All cells have a membrane that protect the walls, and if those are compromised, then we start to age. And there's one scientific truth that we see, is that regardless of what causes disease or aging, the final common pathway is that there is a reduction in water in tissue. And there are many different theories of aging. I'd like to talk to you about one of them that was developed by a doctor I worked with, Dr. Howard Murad, called the cellular water principle. And water is found in the body in basically three areas. In the intracellular level, within connective tissue, and then there's wasted water, like edema. And that's the goal is to increase our intracellular water and connective tissue water and reduce that wasted water. Think of a grape. You know how nice a grape is? It's very moist and it's got all that moisture in it. And you look at a healthy cell membrane and think of that as a grape. It's got a great membrane. But what happens as we are bombarded by oxidants, free radicals, it damages and puts holes in that cellular wall, and the water is actually lost. Also, inflammation takes place, and we get damaged that cellular wall. Inflammation is from eating pro-inflammatory foods like the meats and the cheeses and the dairy products and all those things, and we lose that moisture. The thing is to make sure that we promote our cellular health by eating foods that build it up with things that are rich in lecithin, healthy fats, the right types of protein, so that we can keep that cellular wall strong and keep the moisture in. Cellular water principle is a key theory in anti-aging. And one of the key things in this theory is that we need to eat more raw fruits and vegetables. You know, we say to drink 6 or 8 glasses of water every day, but the water that you get in fruits and vegetables is actually different than just the type of water that you get in drinking water. It gets into the cells of the fruits and vegetables very easily, and by eating a water-based diet, we can get that water from the fruits and vegetables, and it can go into our cellular tissue, into the cells. And not only that, is that the fruits and vegetables have antioxidants and they have anti-inflammatories in it. So a vegan diet, I believe, is really the ultimate type of diet for anti-aging, and particularly eating more raw fruits and vegetables and cooking things less.